ESO offers a variety of daily rewards that you can claim by just logging in. But are they any good, or are they just wasting your inventory space? In today's video, I'll share my thoughts on which rewards are worth using, which ones are worth saving or selling, and which ones you can safely destroy. Welcome back, citizens of Tamriel. I'm Cal, and as I was looking over the March daily login rewards in ESO today, it occurred to me how overwhelming the system might be for a new or returning player. Some of the most valuable rewards this month actually appear sort of mundane, while some of the highlighted rewards are borderline worthless. It also reminded me of how, for years, I let these daily rewards stack up and clog my inventory and bank. So I wanted to take a moment today to share some advice for new and returning players who might be unsure of which of the rewards in the daily login reward calendar are valuable and which can be safely discarded. The system also resets on a monthly basis, so you don't need to log in on a specific day to claim a specific reward. If you miss a couple days, you will just miss out on the last couple of rewards from the month. But the most notable stuff is usually in the first 3 weeks, making it more accessible without forcing you to log in and claim your reward every day to get the good stuff. The last week of the month does typically have some good money makers though, so it's still worth it to try and claim them all. Alright, so let's take a look at March's reward calendar as an example here. So one of the standbys of the daily login rewards are actually the experience scrolls, and that was the first reward this month. You'll see these in different varieties. We've actually got 150% scroll later this month, but they're useful to new, returning, and veteran players alike, as they can be used to boost XP gain throughout the game. They'll help you level up faster, claim that next champion point quicker, and that boosted XP is also applied to skills that level via XP as well as companions. You'll only typically see a couple of these each month, but if you're not diligent, they'll still pile up pretty quick. I save the good ones, like this 150% scroll, for days when I'm focused on leveling up a new character or grinding CP, but I'll go ahead and pop these 50% ones without much hesitation. Next up, we've got the crown consumables, like the refreshing drink here, or the fortifying meals that I'll be able to claim in a week, as well as all of these crown potions. The chickens in particular are a very good food that can be used at any level, which makes them very useful. The buff provided is also pretty decent for just about any class and any role, thanks to the fact that it increases all 3 main stats. Of course, there are better foods out there, especially for in-game content, but this is a solid choice for basically any character, and there's no need to hoard these. Even if you're using them as your main food, you'll probably end up with a huge stockpile over time. The crown drinks, on the other hand, are straight trash in my opinion, and I delete them basically immediately. Recovery just isn't an important stat in ESO in 2025, and I would never use these over a food that actually increases the raw stat pools like the crown chickens do. So I immediately toss those refreshing drinks. Now, when it comes to the potions, the tripods are a standout. I'm pretty sure these are a staple in most players' inventories, and it's a great all-around potion for most builds. The Gold Coast potions, on the other hand, are a little bit more situational, and the only one that I think might be worth holding on to is the Swift Survivor Elixir, which can save your ass in a tough battle and help you get away from enemies. The Spellcaster and Warrior Elixirs are really designed to boost DPS, but most players are going to have another source of the major buffs that they grant, so it's going to be a little bit redundant at in-game. There's no need to be thrifty with any of these potions though, as you're going to get a monthly stipend from the daily rewards that's going to help replenish your stockpile. I personally keep the tripods and trash the rest. Moving on to the crown poisons. We've got the Gold Coast debilitating poison and the crown lethal poison this month, but poison is rarely used outside of Cyrodiil, and I personally prefer to leverage weapon enchants over poison anyway, so I actually only keep 1 stack of the crown lethal poison in my bank, which I pull out anytime there's an endeavor that requires me to use poisons. Otherwise, I trash all of the poisons. Now, if you are a poison user, or you plan to play a lot of Cyrodiil, these might be worth saving, but I think for most players out there, they're not going to be super useful. We've also got some Crown Soul Gems and repair kits this month. The Crown Soul Gems are functionally identical to the regular Soul Gems that you'll collect throughout Tamriel. This makes them not super valuable, but you may as well carry them and use them in lieu of the regular Soul Gems so that you can actually sell those for gold. On the other hand, the Crown Repair Kits are actually super useful. These ones will repair all of your damaged equipment at once, which means they're not just saving you gold from having to pay for those repairs, but they're also way more convenient to use. I keep a small stack of these on all of my max level characters, since that's where you'll get the most bang for your buck. I do recommend saving these until you are in max level gear, but then use them anytime you need a repair. Another item that will occasionally pop up here are the crown writing lessons, in this case capacity. On a brand new account, you'll probably want to use these immediately. Mount training in ESO is a little bit tedious, and shortening that timeline is a huge benefit. Now, if you've already maxed out your writing skills on your character, these are still worth saving. Even if you don't think you'll ever make an alt, I would still carve out 3 slots in your bank to hold on to these. There's honestly nothing more frustrating in ESO than deciding to make a new character and then having to visit the stable master every day for months on end to level up those riding skills. Having a fat stack of these on day one makes a new character so much more fun. Next up, the research scrolls. We've got instant blacksmithing, clothing, woodworking, and instant all research. These are actually used to reduce the research timer for any traits that you are researching via crafting, and these can be super handy in a pinch. When you're first starting out researching your first traits, that research actually goes pretty quickly, so these aren't going to be useful to you right away. But with each trait you research, that research time increases, which means that as you unlock more and more traits, it's going to take longer and longer to research the next one. And you might be in a hurry in the future to unlock a trait so that you can craft a useful item with it. Having a stack of these means that you can unlock that new trait immediately. So I recommend saving these until you feel like you absolutely need to finish researching a trait immediately, and you'll be glad you have them. Now, one thing that we aren't seeing in the March calendar are actually the respecification scrolls. Occasionally, these will pop up for both attributes and skills, and they allow you to respec your character's attributes and skills. They're handy to have, but not overly valuable at first. Those respec costs are very low to start, but they do escalate over time. On this character, for example, I think it's about 10k to respec my skills now, so these will save me a little chunk of change. I am always saving them for later, and then of course when I do decide to actually go respec, I forget that I have them. So that's why I have a huge stack here in my inventory. Let's move on to some of the more exciting stuff, like gold. So this month, there are a couple days where you can claim 2,000 gold via the daily login rewards. It's pretty self-explanatory. Obviously, gold is useful in ESO, and no one's going to complain about some free money. About once per year, we do see a month where there's a much more significant gold daily login reward of about 100k. And even as a veteran player, that's a pretty nice windfall. This month, we also have Alliance points and Tel Var coming our way, both of which are extremely useful, but you'll want to make sure you're claiming them on the right character, at least the Alliance points. Any Alliance points gained, whether it's fighting in Cyrodiil or the Battlegrounds or claimed from the daily login calendar, will level up your Alliance war skills. So if you have a new character that you haven't unlocked the Assault or Support skill lines on yet, you can claim some Alliance points here to start leveling up those skills. Both Alliance points and Tel Var are also used as currencies, which you can use to purchase PvP equipment. But if you're not interested in purchasing equipment for yourself, these can actually be used to buy items that you can then resell to other players for gold. The 5,000 Tel Var here is actually enough to purchase a Hokkaido rune, which is currently worth about 18,000 gold on the PCNA server. And while 5,000 AP isn't going to get you too far, if you save it up and spend 25,000, you can actually purchase a Dawn Prism, which is worth about 8,000 gold on the PCNA server right now. Of course, bear in mind that depending on the current market and meta, there are often items that could be more lucrative than these two. But Hokkaido runes and Dawn Prisms are safe bets that are basically always in demand. In recent months, we've been seeing more crafting materials in the daily login rewards. Things like Tempering Alloy, the Rosin, Dreg Wax, and Luminous Ink. All four of these materials are in pretty high demand and are quite valuable on the market right now, especially the Dreg Wax. On PCNA, that wax goes for about 15k a piece, which means these four are going to net you about 60k if you can sell them to another player. The Alloy goes for about 5k a piece, the Rosin for about 1k a piece, and then the Luminous Ink right now is worth about 650 gold a piece. These first three are actually used to upgrade your gear to gold quality, and then of course the Luminous Ink is used to scribe new skills in Gold Road. If you were to sell all of these materials right here from this month's daily login rewards, it would net you about 90k gold on the PCNA server. Finally, this month we have the Furnishings, and the way these are presented is actually one of the most frustrating things about this month's daily login rewards. We have the 10 sunflowers there on day 7, there are 3 butterflies on day 14, and then a painting on day 21. The flowers and the painting are both fairly common. You can actually purchase this particular sunflower cluster for 400 gold from the home goods vendor out in Galen. And the painting is a fairly common item that comes from treasure chests in the base game zones, which makes the sunflower clusters and the painting essentially worthless, especially now that there's going to be this huge influx of additional supply in the market. The butterfly flock, on the other hand, is an item that was previously exclusive to the Crown store, making it potentially extremely valuable. I expect the Monarch butterfly flock to go for probably about 10k a piece later this month. But that price is going to increase significantly over time, as there won't really be any mechanism to replenish the supply. So if you care more about gold than home furnishings, I'd recommend holding on to these butterflies for a couple months before you sell them. You can always use them to decorate your own home in the meantime, as furnishings remain unbound even after they've been placed in ESO. As for the sunflowers and that painting, unfortunately, you might be able to sell them for a few hundred gold, but I doubt it given that the supply is about to spike. So if you're a housing enthusiast and you want to decorate with them, that's great. Otherwise, they're probably not worth saving. If we continue to see see furnishings in the future, I strongly recommend looking up the acquisition methods before you toss or sell them, because there's nothing here that really indicates that these butterflies are infinitely more valuable than the sunflower clusters or that painting. All right, let's chat about a couple of things that weren't in the login rewards this month, but are occasionally in the login rewards. Crown mimic stones make a fairly regular appearance as daily rewards, and they can be used in lieu of style materials. This is handy in a pinch if you want to craft a piece of gear that requires a particular style material that you're all out of, but you can also deconstruct that gear after it's been crafted with the mimic stones, and you get a chance at recovering the actual style material that would have been required. This means that crown mimic stones can actually be converted into gold in a roundabout way by selling those recovered style materials to other players. There's also no Seals of Endeavor to claim in March, but this is one daily reward that I personally look forward to. These seals are used to purchase items from crown crates, and you should save them up until there's an item that you just have to have from one of the rotating crown crates. In the past, we've also seen daily reward calendars that included cosmetic collectibles like adornments and costumes, pets, mounts, or even houses, as well as crown crates themselves, and even zone and dungeon DLC packs. These are probably some of the most exciting rewards to see, and I always make sure to log in enough to claim them when they do show up. This wheeled arbor headdress being a recent example, along with the Sword Singer's Redoubt house. So with all that in mind, let's take another look at March's rewards, and I'll tell you my thoughts on the overall package. So obviously these experience scrolls, they're going right in my bank. I'm saving them for the right time. The Crown Refreshing Drinks, along with the Gold Coast Potions and the Poisons, I'm tossing all of that immediately. The Alliance points in Tel Var, I'm going to be claiming on my main, since I'm still working on my War rank, and then I'll probably use them to purchase gear in Cyrodiil and the Imperial City. The Sunflower Cluster is probably going to be trashed along with the painting. I'm planning on using the Monarch Butterfly Flock in my houses. I might also look for some good deals, so if anyone's selling them underpriced on Guild Traders, I'll be snapping those up. I'll be using the Crown Chickens to replenish my stockpile, along with the Crown Soul Gems and the Crown Repair Kit. The Riding Lessons, I've got a stack of those in my bank, so that'll be getting added to my bank for later use. Same with the Instant Research Scrolls. Those will all be going in the bank. I have been selling some of all 4 of these crafting materials, as I've got pretty good stockpiles and I'm not super desperate for them right now, so these might actually get listed for sale. And then of course I'll be adding the gold to my pocketbook. I think in comparison to some of the months we saw last year, this one wasn't particularly exciting, but altogether there's probably a little over 100,000 gold worth of stuff here that you could sell to other players, and then of course a few useful items. All right everyone, I think that covers it. I'm sure I forgot something in there, but I'm considering doing a quick overview every month moving forward, so I'll cover anything I missed eventually. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your tips for managing daily login rewards in the comments below. As usual, I'd like to thank my patrons who got early ad-free access to this video over on Patreon. If you'd like to join them to get early access to videos and your name in the credits of the next video to boot, please consider checking out my Patreon linked on screen now. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all for the next one. Bye for now, everybody.